And you brought up an organization. You said it was a local organization where they have contracts. What was the name of the organization again?
It's William Francis here in Boston.
William Francis Center?
Yeah, he's the Secretary of State. He's
We know how Dan loves that.
So you don't know if there's a website your friend signed up with or something like that?
oh Jesus.
Okay. I mean, he's obviously engaged with this guy right now. Should we?
All right. When you find out if there's a website or anything that that he signed up through, let me know and we can go through that together. What I want to show you guys today is how to find primes to do subcontract work for.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's one of the questions.
Oops. Finding primes to do subcontract work for. There's several ways you can go about finding primes to do sub work for. There are state and local government contractors that you can find through the state systems. I'm going to go through the federal systems today, and then if we have time, we'll go through your state systems as well. So on the federal side, you've got several databases you can use to find primes. There is a database that the SBA has out called SUBNET that may still be working, may not. And that's where primes post opportunities where they're looking to hire subcontractors. And I'm looking for the subnet through SBA. Search subnet and my video comes up instead of the SBA's website.
That's funny.
Brilliant. It's on, if you guys have never received my acronyms email, it's on my acronyms email, I believe. Nope, it's on the cap statement email. There it is, subnet. All right, this is the SBA's website called SUBNET. You go to the link right there. No, I don't want to sign up. And you're going to go to the search button right here. So we can search by keyword, by state, NAICS code, zip code. Search the database. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So we do a state and a description.
Did you go, John, did you go to the top search capability button?
Yeah, I think he went Ernest to the top.
Yeah, I found it. Let's go Texas. I think we lost this audio.
It's not working for some reason. They might. A lot of these systems are being modified to move into SAM, and they might be doing that right now, and it's not working properly. So let's try. Yes, it's not working.
Hey, John, it's working fine for us. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just put in Texas and just put in today's date, and quite a number showed up.
I'm not getting it to work at all for some reason.
Try without a keyword.
Are you stressed out? I'm just taking care of him. I don't want him stressed.
It's obviously working now because it's coming up with a lot of results.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff that's come in Texas here in the last days. Yeah.
Okay, so when you do a
There we go.
search, it's going to show you the name of the company. It's going to show you the date that they expect for this opportunity to close. Why it's going to the very beginning, why it's going backwards on the date, I don't know. I should be able to click. See, you can't click the closing date and make it go in reverse. They got to be working on it because that doesn't make sense that it's going to the oldest opportunity first. So scroll to the bottom to find the newest opportunities. These are coming up next year. Now, not all of these are opportunities. Like this company right here thought that this database was for them to put their information in here to say, hey, hire me. And that's not really the way this database works.
Okay.
Right? Interested in working with all types of SBs and disadvantaged companies. So this company right here is looking to work with anyone on pre-event disaster recovery contracts. So you can reach out to Lori. There's her phone number and her email. Or you can click on the link and it'll take you into this company's data. It gives you their name, address, email, phone numbers, everything. And you can contact Lori and let her know that you're interested in working for her as a disaster recovery contractor or a pre-disaster recovery contractor. You can also take their name and go to USA Spending, pop their company in there, get an idea of they've done $50 million in federal contracts. I'd say they're legitimate.
Wow. What was Lori, her name?
Tia Lori.
And hey, John, what would be the information pack that we'd send to a prime, right? Would it just be a capability?
You want to call her,
or what?
You want to call her. You want to call her and hit her with your 15, 20-second elevator pitch and let her know that you've already sent over your cap statement. And just have a brief paragraph about yourself in your cap statement. Don't go nuts with 80 paragraphs of information about how awesome you are. That you want to keep this as simple as possible. People don't like to read, and they're not going to read 3 or 4 pages. So you got to sum up. You got to sum you up in a paragraph, a short paragraph. And your elevator pitch, literally, I don't want it more than 20 seconds. You call up, you tell them who you are. You work, I'm John Wayne with USFCR. We specialize in blah, blah, blah. And we are a woman, minority, service-disabled, veteran-owned, disadvantaged small business. I'd like to know what I can do to earn your business. And I can help you with your ESRS requirements. That's 15, 20 seconds, and then shut up. Let her talk. You want to bring up the ESRS requirements because they're doing $50 million in contracts. They have to hire small businesses. They don't have a choice. And they have to prove that they're hiring small businesses. You know how the government has to hire 23% small businesses?
Yeah.
Primes, if the prime gets a contract over 650,000, most of the time on that contract, it's a stipulation they have to sub out 23% of it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I was just wondering, what the information pack, but that's it. I got it. So the phone call, we got it. 15 quick, 20-second elevator pitch.
Yep.
Send them the cap statement.
Yep. Tell them you can help them with their ESRS requirements. That's the electronic subcontract reporting system. That's where she would post how much they paid you to prove that they're hiring small businesses. If she's not the SBLO, Small Business Liaison Officer, she should know who to direct you to, but most likely she is because she's put this ad in this database. All right.
Okay, we're not specifically interested in this one, but yeah, it's just an example, right?
Exactly,
so it's okay, if we're going to contact the client, how do we do it?
Exactly. Exactly. Now, it doesn't matter what the date is on these. You know, when I first did the search, it took me to the oldest date first. It took me to 2002 for some reason, 2004. It doesn't matter that these are old. More than likely, these companies are still in existence, and more than likely, they're still hiring subcontractors. So if you guys can dedicate an hour a day to sit down and make phone calls like this, I promise you it will pay off. And I've seen it time and time again. I've heard it. I had a construction company, got in my training one day, kind of upset. John Wayne, we've been calling every day for hours and we're getting nowhere and it's a waste of time. And I'm kind of upset that you told me to do it. And I said, well, you don't believe me, don't believe me. But if you believe me, you're going to stick with it. You're going to continue doing it. And I promise you it will pay off. And like 2 days later, he called up and he's like, well, hot damn, John Wayne, you were right, man. We already closed the deal and got paid on it. We got another deal pending. We got 2 more meetings tomorrow. We just had to run the numbers, huh? That's exactly what I told you. You make enough phone calls, you're going to find the business.
Nice.
All right. This is just one database that you can get what I call mining. You're mining data out of the internet that you can call and line up business. This is just one of the databases, okay? Any questions on SBA SUBNET before I show you the next database?
No, it's good.
All right.
Was it SBA.com? Is that what it is?
No, don't worry about it. I'm going to email you guys the links to everything.
Well, okay.
All the acronyms that I'm using right now, I got an acronyms list I'm going to send you. These are all the links, okay? And I got this acronyms list right here that literally has every federal acronym ever in alphabetical order.
That's awesome. Good. I'd already created an acronym list. Yeah, that's excellent. Thanks, John.
This one, dude, this one's intense. I've been creating this list since I started here day one, and every time I find a new acronym, I add it. Dude,
that's awesome. No, I'm with you, man. Awesome. Yep, I'm the same way. We're building the library.
I sent it to a what an idiot. I sent it to a guy that hangs wallpaper, and he had custom wallpaper made with the acronyms, and he wallpapered his office with it. And I'm thinking, that's kind of cool in a way, but kind of weird because I add acronyms to that list every week. And he goes, oh, shit, I didn't think about that.
No.
All right, so no questions on SUBNET. The next database I'm going to show you, you should already be using. I mean, this is kind of common sense, but common sense isn't always common. So if you're not, that's okay. I'm not putting you down.
Okay.
It's FBO. Okay, FBO in itself, which you're using if you're bidding on government contracts, you're probably getting emails from them every day. Let's say you got an email on an opportunity. Let's do this. Okay, so you got an opportunity. It's a solicitation, combined synopsis solicitation right here. You're going to click on the link. First thing you do is look at when it's due, look at what it's set aside for, make sure you qualify, and you're going to read the synopsis, see if it's something that you want to do. No, this isn't really what I want, okay? Instead of having that time that you just invested, the 30 seconds of time you just invested in reviewing it, take another 5 seconds and mine this system. Go to the interested vendors list. Log in. We're going to do this now. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah.
No worries.
FBO will change your password, or FBO will deactivate your account every 3 months if you don't change your password every 3 months. And the only way to reset it is to contact the Federal Service Desk and have them physically reset it. And it's ironic that they started doing this. The Federal Service Desk used to be run by government employees. In 2012, I think it was outsourced to a third party. Now, they won't admit it unless you ask them that they're not the government. But right around that time that they took over the contract, they switched FBO so that password had to be updated every 3 months instead of once a year. Well, if you don't reset it and they lock you out, you have to call them or email them or text them to get it fixed. And every time you reach out to them, they get paid. They get paid for an incident. So the more incidents they create, the more payments they make. See where I'm going with that one?
Yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. This should work. Oh. Okay. So you log in, accept the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Go back to the search because it logged me out of the search when I tried to log in. So let's just pick one. This one right here. So we decided we have no interest in bidding on it, but we can still go to the interested vendors list. And there's nobody on it, of course. It's going to make a liar of me when I'm trying to prove a point. Never fails. That one doesn't have an interested vendors list. It's a blind list. Of course, because I'm trying to show you guys something. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
well, that's it. License renewal. There's not much to do there, you know.
Usually construction has a lot of people on the interested vendors list. Let's try that. All right, re-roofing and paintings. Go to the interested vendors list, and there's nobody on it. Jesus. It never fails. If I'm not doing something like this, I go to the interested vendors list. There's 50 people on it. Or I get a phone call from someone saying there's 50 people on that one. I decided not to bid on it. That doesn't mean they're all bidding. Man, I'm batting 1,000.
So interested vendors list.
Let's just say for argument's sake, there's 10 companies on the interested vendors list, okay? I'm the only one on here because, you know what, it's got to be one.
I think, yeah. Yeah, he's on FPDS ops.
Okay, here we go. So there's 5 people on the interested vendors list. That does not mean there's 5 bidders, okay? Innovative People and Technology Corp. I can't really tell if they're bidding on this at this point, but if I copy their domain and I pull up their website, I can see if they're a legitimate company that's going to bid or if they're selling something. They're, looks like they sell websites maybe. So they might be bidding on this, but they might be able to hire you for sub work. Who knows? All right. So you're going to copy this and paste this into a spreadsheet that you can sit down later and follow up with, and you can name this one, you know, construction or dry dock, you know, if they're doing dry docks or whatever. There's the name and phone number and email. So not everybody on here is bidding. This guy is trying to sell financing. He wants to finance your contracts for you. If you need financing, let me know. This guy's selling proposal writing services. He wants to write your proposal for you for a fee. He's not bidding on this. He's not going to hire you as a subcontractor. Don't waste your time with him. If you need a proposal written, I do proposal writing. Check with me first. This guy's doing bid protest. He's not bidding on this. Don't waste your time calling him. He's not going to hire you. He wants you to pay him to protest the bid if you don't win it. If you need to do a bid protest, I do those. Check with me first. Contractor plan center. More than likely, it sounds like they're selling something. It doesn't sound like they're bidding. It sounds like they want to sell you their contract property maintenance software or some BS you don't need. So copy their domain. Do a quick research on them. Yeah, they're selling some type of software or something, some type of service to help bids or something. If you need some help with something like that, check on me first. But you guys get the picture here.
Yes.
One of these guys might be able to hire you as a subcontractor. So you're going to treat it just like you did at the SBA's website. You're going to call them, hit them with your elevator pitch, ask them what you can do to earn their business, remind them that you can help them with their ESRS requirements. You can also, when you're in FBO and you're taking the time to review these things, scroll to the very bottom of every opportunity and cut and paste the point of contact's contact information and put that into an Excel spreadsheet called Purchasing Agents Dry Dock. So now you're building a list of purchasing agents you can market yourself to, which I'm going to cover next. All right. Any questions about mining FBO for data?
No, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
No, I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. The next database, I actually already showed you guys earlier, but it's another area that you can mine, and that's when you want to check on a business. I always do a little bit of research before you make a phone call, but when I say a little bit, I mean just enough so you can say one little thing that makes them know that you know something about them. You know, never cold call a company and not know what they do. So just check their domain real quick and know what they do. That way you can say something about it and you can connect with them. But don't do too much research, because if you spend 5 minutes looking up a company before you call them, and you got 5 minutes looking it up and 5 minutes to actually make the call and take the notes, now you're 10 minutes a call. You want to make as many calls as possible. So do just a little bit of quick research and then make that phone call, hit them with your 20-second elevator pitch, ask them what you can do to earn their business, and shut the hell up. Let them talk.
Yes.
Now, USA spending I showed you is where you can research someone and see how much money they paid. You can also go in here and go to your state and put in a keyword and see the contracts that have been awarded. Over $4 billion in contracts have been awarded to Texas under the keyword paint, and these are the contractors right here. You can click on it. There's the name and phone number right there. It doesn't give you a personal point of contact name. You can take that and put that in a system. Used to be called Binks, now it's called Cage. Not Cage the elephant. Cage.dla.mil. It's going to tell you it is not secure. You probably have a pop-up saying do not go here. It's a government site. It's secure as it'll get. Pop their legal name in or their DUNS number or Cage code and search. Okay, it's not showing us them, so we can also try that. In FPDS. We should be in here if they're doing that many contracts. Now, it's going to make a liar of me, huh? I'm batting 1,000 today, guys. Let's try a different one.
Okay, so you're going to FPDS and USA and the Cage website just to basically try to find contacts to the vendor, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to, I mean, usually they pop up and there's no problem, but because I'm trying to show you guys something and prove a point, it's being difficult. So here's the company that we were trying to find, and there's their DUNS number right there. So you take their DUNS number, you go into Cage, and search it by the DUNS number. And there they are. Click the view the details link. And there's your point of contact. There's the phone number. Now, James might be the CEO. He might be the secretary. He might be assistant. He might be a construction guy. Who knows? But if he's not the guy that can help you or hire you to do sub work for him, he should know who to refer you to. And always make sure you mention the ESRS requirements. If they're big enough, they have to deal with that. And now you can market yourself to this guy as well. Any questions on mining?
No.
Yes.
No, it's good. I think we have logins to all of those. Is there something special about the Cage website? Do we have that one?
Cage, you want to use Cage whenever you want to find contact information on a vendor, because Sam's a piece of junk. It's a pain in the butt. It crashes a lot. You have to take like 6 steps to pull this information up in Sam that you do in 2 steps in Cage. And
Okay, good.
if they opt out of the public search, you won't find them in Sam, but they'll be in Cage regardless if they opt out or not. That's why opting out of the public search is a stupid idea, because the people who mine your information out of Sam and call you to try and sell you crap you don't need know that they can still find you in the Cage system even though you opted out of the public search. And when you do opt out of the public search, you're just making it more difficult for purchasing agents to find you and hire you. So that's a bad idea altogether. But use Cage because it's easier. So that's USA Spending, cage.dla.mil, usaspending.gov, fpds.gov, and fdo.gov that I've showed you so far. I told you I was going to show you how to mine for purchasing agents. Okay. Now, you've contacted ABHE. They actually are going to hire you as a subcontractor. They may tell you that you're going to have to sign a non-compete. That's a load. Okay, some states non-competes hold some weight. Some states they don't. If it's a right-to-work state, they hold no weight whatsoever, unless you steal trade secrets or you steal property. You know, so you can work for ABHE, and while you're working for them as a sub, you turn around and contact their purchasing officers and have their purchasing officers hire you directly. A lot of times when you do a subcontract job for a prime, the prime has to disclose who you are to the purchasing agent. So the purchasing agent already knows who's actually doing the work. And when the job's done and it comes up for renewal, sometimes the purchasing agent will reach out to you as the subcontractor and ask you to bid on it next year as the prime. So that whole non-compete thing with that prime holds no weight whatsoever, because if the purchasing officer wants to hire you, they're going to do it.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so John, so let's just say, just give me a 30 seconds on if they want to subcontract us, what are they looking for? Are they looking for, our insurance certs? What's the pack that we need to have ready to send to them behind once they're like, we're interested, we want to work with you?
Most of them, all they're going to need up front is your cap statement and your contact information. And then they'll tell you, we have a database on our website where you need to go register. Here's the link. And the database will automatically prompt you to upload certificates and documents, stuff like that. The main thing you're going to need is a Cage code, because they can't show that they paid you money unless they put your Cage code in the ESRS.
All right.
So any questions on marketing to primes as a subcontractor? If not, I'm going to move on to marketing to purchasing agents.
No, great overview. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, like I said, you can do work for a prime and still market yourself to their purchasing agents. But how do you find their purchasing agents' information? How do you know who they're buying from? Well, number one, if you're bidding on something in FBO and you lose it, and it's awarded to somebody else, they're going to tell you in FBO who it was awarded to and for how much. And you know who the purchasing agents are because their contact information is at the bottom of the page. So you can offer to do work for this guy who awarded it. You can offer to do work for him as a subcontractor. And those are the easiest to get sub work for because he won it. You call that guy up and you say, hey, Joe, congratulations on winning that contract. Man, you deserve it. You guys work hard. You deserve winning that one. That is just awesome. I just wanted to call you up and say thank you. And, you know, if you need, we're here for you. And he'll be like, oh, thank you so much. Who are you? And now you've thrown him off a little bit, you know, and now you hit him with your elevator pitch and ask him what you can do to earn his business. And if you think he's big enough, mention you can help him with his ESRS requirements. All right. But you can also, like I said earlier, take that purchasing agent's information and save it in a database. You don't want to call him today because you just bid on this. He knows who you are. I'd give it a couple of months and then follow up with him. Say, hey, Alicia, you know, this is John Wayne. Hit her with your elevator pitch to let her know that you're a small business, woman-owned, minority-owned. Let her know the set asides, blah, blah, blah. Ask her what you do in her business. All right. Now, you want to find out who Abby's selling to because you want to market yourself to their purchasing agents, right? So we're going to go to the most recent awarded contract to this company, and we want to know about this one right here under heavy civil and engineering, $345,000 contract. So click the view link. Now, I can tell you already this is a simplified acquisition because they were prepaid, and they don't prepay on many contracts unless they're SAPs. They were given $345,000 up front to start. They'll collect $16 million by the time they complete this contract.
Wow.
This was done, no, actually it was put out for full and open competition. It was done as a sealed bid, but there was only 2 offers. You're rarely going to see more than 3 offers in this system. And those are odds that I love. When I brokered in the 80s, man, we had 15, 20, 30 competitors on every bid. All right. Now, I want to know who they're selling to. I want to find out their purchasing officer on this contract. So I go up here to the prepared user or last modified user and copy that. A lot of times this is not their real email address. Some of them make fake email addresses for each opportunity. So when that opportunity is over, they stop checking that address. Okay. But if you take that, now I'm going to show you guys a very super secret database. Don't share this with anyone. It's one of my best kept secrets. All right. You're going to search that information in Google. Top secret, my ass. There's his real email address, and more than likely his phone number is connected to it. If not, you scroll down. It's usually within 3 or 4 links you're going to find his phone number and his real email address. Email him your cap statement, call him up, ask him what you can do to earn his business. The more of these phone calls you guys make, I promise you, you're going to get a lot of no's because a lot of purchasing agents only buy by putting stuff out to bid. So when you call one of those guys, they're going to tell you, you are wasting your time calling me because everything I do goes out for bid. But 1 out of 50, 1 out of 20 is going to say, hey, thanks for calling, man. I actually can use your services. I happen to have this thing sitting on my desk right now. And man, what a coincidence. Can you start tomorrow?
Nice.
Hey, John, would some of those classify as the simplified acquisition under the simplified acquisition program?
You're not going to find many contracts that are in FBO that are simplified acquisitions because in the word itself means not for bid. Well, I mean, it doesn't translate that way, but that's what it means is that it's not put out for bid. It's a simplified acquisition. So you're not going to see them very often in FBO. You're going to find more of them in here because this database is to show that purchasing officers are hiring women, minorities, and veterans in 8As and hub zones. So this only tracks about 10% of the spending. But a lot of those contracts they do award as simplified acquisitions to small businesses because small businesses can't afford to do these contracts without being paid up front. Now, if you go in here and you go by date signed, or you go by action obligation to see the largest contract, that one's for $1 billion. That it's too old. Let me show you a better example. Oh, forgot what I was doing for a minute. I can't keep up with myself sometimes, guys. Okay. See this contract right here? See where it says solicitation procedure, simplified acquisition?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
See how many offers received?
One. Wow.
Okay, this is for fire safety services. This guy only did $1 million in revenues last year with 13 employees. Okay, as a service disabled veteran, he's not a hub zone, not 8As, nothing else. So he 1 million in revenues, 13 employees. He won this contract with no competition as a simplified acquisition. Was done as a sole source, which means they reached out to him because he was a service disabled veteran and just hired him. No secondary bid, no competition. Ready for this? He only did $1 million in revenues last year. The government gave him a $1 billion contract with a B. They paid him $750,000 up front. That's 7.75% is usually how much the bid bond is. So they paid him up front enough money to cover the bid bond, and then he'll collect $3.1 million probably monthly up until 2020.
Seems kind of irresponsible, John.
Well, hey, I'm not gonna argue whether or not the government spends money responsibly, because they do. But if they're going to, you might as well get a piece of it.
Yeah, no doubt. No, we obviously want to perform with excellence, right, and do what we've done in the private sector and the public sector, right? So.
Man, I had a lady yesterday trying to tell me, well, the government doesn't make mistakes and the government doesn't spend money frivolously. My God, I see it every day.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's insane. But hey, like I said, you can either fight it or you can join it.
No, that's right, exactly, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to take, really we thought, the private sector was, and it's good, it's treated us well, but at the same time, really the efficiency gains that are needed are in the Fed side, so we want to be able to take that and do it at scale, so just scaling in the private sector is a little harder.
Especially state and local government contracts are really difficult. County government, state and local government is really difficult. Federal contracts are completely the opposite now. And look at it this way, guys. Our federal government is the largest purchasing entity in this known universe. No one spends as much money as our federal government does. And what happens in 2008 when the housing market fell apart? What happened? People stopped spending. They got scared. They stopped spending. Government doesn't care, man. The world could be on fire tomorrow. They're still going to spend. What happens when they run out of money? They print more. So if you're going to sell to the largest purchasing agent in the world. And that's the federal government.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Any questions on mining prime or purchasing agents information?
No, man, that's a great tactic, John. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions in general?
Oh man, we got a whole litany of questions. We got a whole list of questions. Okay, so what we talked about FBO, we talked about SUBNET, we talked about cage or searching cage codes, accessing primes and our the procurement agents, right? So obviously to market to them. You gave us understanding of basically what to do to contact them once you've mined the data. That's cool. That's good. I mean, that's weeks of work right there, John. You've given us what we need to get started there. So we've actually been profiling state and local. I mean, we're in Texas, so obviously we want to try to stay local. And when we go to establish in this new entity, the hub zone that I mentioned to you, that's in Texas too. And we obviously want to basically meet the mandate of the hub zone, which is to try to bring up that local area. So we're kind of focused on Texas already. We're starting to look at it, and they have their own system. Yeah, I don't know if there's some federal system that you can see the state through, but we access that through the Texas system, and I can find the link here.
Each state has their own database. One thing I would advise you guys to do, each state, local, and county government also has their own disaster recovery division. Now, here's and this is seriously a real secret that not many people know. A good way to get in with FEMA is to register with your state, your city, and local and county government disaster recovery divisions, because they are more apt to declare disaster quicker than the feds. So if the state of Texas declares a disaster and they hire you, and FEMA declares a disaster 2 days later, when FEMA steps in and takes over, more than likely they'll keep you because you're already there. So it's a good way to get in with FEMA. And I can tell you for a fact, FEMA writes blank checks, and that's not an exaggeration. It's literal. I've heard it from both purchasing agents and from contractors. I had one guy said,
you're saying to register with the state procurement group, right?
I'm telling you to
No,
register
the
with
disaster recovery.
Disaster Recovery Division. So if you do Texas, I was born and raised in Texas, by the way, guys.
All right.
Well, that's good. I saw you're in St. Petersburg, and we're like double Grand Prix winners there. You know,
Nice.
so
Nice.
yeah.
How do you register with them? What's the website or?
Each state is different. So what you do is you Google the name of your state and disaster relief. Okay. It's going to show you FEMA, disaster declarations for Texas. Okay. Texas Disaster Relief Fund. That's where you sign up to get money if you're a homeowner. Disaster relief resources right there. Click on it, follow the instructions and sign up. There should be something on here for vendors to register, and a lot of them it takes 5 minutes to register.
Disaster relief.
Yeah,
what's the
do the
resource?
same thing with your city. Houston.
Texas Department of Community.
Disaster relief.
Yeah, we call, there's at least once a year they call these things, man, you know, so.
All right. Register with all your city, state, and local and county disaster relief divisions because they are more apt to hire you. They declare disasters quicker. If you want to do state, local, and city and county government contracts, I do have some experience with those, but I can tell you right now, they're far more complicated than federal contracts are, ridiculously.
Yeah, we kind of looked at a few, especially a big one here in Texas on a series of, you know, they want to bring together a bunch of their data systems, you know, driver's license and criminal background stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot more detailed. So, yeah. Okay. John? What about FEMA? Right. So, you know, just because you have a registration with FEMA, you're saying are they hard to get into and work with? Is what you're saying?
Sorry, guys. One of my coworkers had a question about a bid that's due today.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right.
Yeah. So John, is FEMA hard to work with? Is that the point of going into the locals?
No, FEMA's not hard to work with, but they're hard to get into. It's hard to get in the door with them. And I can tell you why.
Gotcha.
It actually makes perfect sense. Katrina, okay? All those people stuck on the bridge for 6 days and our government doesn't care about us and they left us here to die. That's not true. The government reacted immediately. The state and local county, they declared disasters immediately. It took the feds, 24 hours to declare a disaster when the entire city of Louisiana, entire city of, where's my brain at today?
New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah, was underwater. It still took the feds a day to declare it because the city, local, county government, they're more apt to declare quicker. When FEMA showed up, then they had to get contractors there. Well, back then, everything was still put out for bid. So you're contacting, FEMA's contacting vendors that are out of state, obviously, that aren't flooded, and asking them, can you give us a bid on this? And now, you know, it takes, a couple of hours, maybe a day to put a bid together and submit it. Now it takes a couple of hours or a day for them to review the bids and compare them and choose a vendor. Then it takes those vendors an hour or a day to gas up and load up their equipment and drive there. Well, of course, it was 4 or 5 days before they could rescue some people because it took them that long just to get their shit straight, you know?
Yeah, got it.
So a lot of what FEMA does now, they do as a simplified acquisition. So they don't have to put it out for bid. They can just hire you. But the point here is that if you're already registered with the city, state, or local, and they hire you and you're there, when FEMA shows up, they'll keep you. So it's a good way to get in the door with FEMA. You can't just show up. I mean, we register you with FEMA as part of the process that we do, but that doesn't mean you're going to get any work.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And I can tell you, Katrina and a couple other storms after that, people would, as soon as there's a disaster, they'd gas up their vehicles and drive there, and they would get hired. Some of them weren't. They were getting there and they were being told to go home. some of them were breaking down or getting, stuck in traffic, and it just became a nightmare. So FEMA finally decided we're not going to allow people to just show up because it encourages too many bad things as well. So FEMA started turning people back. You cannot just show up and do FEMA work. But if you're already there, you're in. Any other questions about disaster recovery work or FEMA or?
Nope.
That's your.
All right, you guys mentioned the hub zone.
Yeah. So John, where do you want to go from here, right? Because before we saw the SBA.certified.gov come up. I mean, one of the entities were fully through the registration process. Is that something that we need to go sign up for?
I would sign up for any set aside you qualified for, especially state government has, you do it through the DOT. They have several small business registrations through the state. There's one called a disadvantaged business enterprise. There's a minority business enterprise. There's a disadvantaged woman-owned business enterprise. You got to, each state's a little different, so you got to Google it and see what your state offers. Do those registrations through the Department of Transportation. We don't offer them. They're because they're state registrations. They're not federal. Primes will be more apt to hire you if you hold those. You guys ever heard of a pass-through?
Yes.
No.
A pass-through is when a prime hires you because you hold certain certifications, because they have to hire so many people with those certifications, and they have to prove that they've hired you and post your results in the ESRS. And if you hold the DBE and the SBE and your hub zone and your 8A, and the more certifications you have, the more they can claim that they've hired, but it's the same person. So they can hire less subcontractors that way. A pass-through is when they hire you just because you hold those certifications, and they don't even have you show up and do the work. They just pay you because you hold those certs. It's not illegal in most states. It can be illegal in some states, and it's frowned upon, but it's not you they're going to come after. It's the prime who paid you but didn't hire you. Because what are you going to say when they show up? You're going to, hey, they paid me, and then they never allowed me on the property. They paid me, and they never gave me a key. What do you want me to do about it? So legally, you can do it and not get away, not get in trouble. I mean, you need to check with me first, because each state's different. Each local and county government's different. But I see pass-throughs all the time where people are hired just because they hold the right certs, and then they don't even have them come do the work.
Okay.
So the more set-asides you have, the more beneficial it is for primes to hire you, period.
Note on that.
All right. Now, here's the thing about the hub zone. Here's the thing about a lot of government certifications. And I understand some people say, well, when I want something done, I want it done right, so I do it myself. I understand that completely. But there's also a fine line between reinventing the wheel. Okay. If you do your hub zone certification and you fail, if you're declined, or if you get in it and you become decertified, you can't come to me and pay me to do it for you. I have to wait 1 whole year before I can do it. All right. So if you guys are serious about any type of certification, before you do it on your own, check with me, because if you try and do it and you fail, I may have to wait a whole year before I can do it for you. All right.
Understood.
Any other questions?
Yeah, with regard to the hub zone, if you're certified in a hub zone as a hub zone business, does that translate to more, locally, meaning state and local government, or is that pretty much across all 48 states or 50 states?
It depends. Some states are broke. Some local and city and county governments are broke, and they're operating off of federal funding. When you got a state or a local county government that's operating off of federal funding, they have to hire federal contractors. So in that case, absolutely yes. And in some instances, even when that's not the case, it still benefits the state to hire hub zone contractors because they might be using a portion of federal funds, or every state's different. But just know this, the more certifications you hold, the more beneficial it is for the government and for primes to hire you, period.
Okay.
All right. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, guys, I told you this is the largest purchasing entity in the world, and the contracts are much easier than state, local, and county government. And I can tell you that from experience. But if you just look at the facts, okay, in 2010, when CCR existed, CCR was the old system that SAM replaced. When CCR existed, there was over 650,000 small businesses registered in CCR that were active. So there was a 500,000 competitors. When you compare that to the fact that there's 30 million small businesses registered in the U.S., even in those standards, you got a hell of a lot less competition in the federal arena than you do in the private arena. But take this into consideration. That was in 2010. Since SAM's been implemented, there's 1.2 million for-profit vendors in SAM right now, but over 900,000 of them are inactive. That means there's only 340,000 active for-profit vendors in SAM. And more than half of those are big business. But let's just say half are big and half are small. That leaves about 160,000 small businesses that are active. That doesn't mean they're compliant just because they're active. I can guarantee you at least 80,000 of those 160,000 are compliant because we've done 80,000 SAM registrations. So in the grand scheme of things right now, there's only about 80,000 small businesses that are active and compliant in SAM that can compete against you across the board versus the non-government arena. There's 30 million businesses. So just those statistics alone make it a no-brainer to sell to the government, especially if you're willing to broker and subcontract. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I know you do, Antonio. If you can do contracts in other states under your local state license, you can't do that in the private arena or in the industrial or commercial arena. You can't do state contracts for California if you're in Texas. You got to get a license in California. With the federal system, you can do contracts, federal contracts in California under your local state license. Most of them. Some of them will require.
Seriously? Wow. Okay, good. That's excellent. Yeah.
Some of them have what's called a brick and mortar. If you see a contract,
now,
hold on though. If you see a contract called brick and mortar, that means you have to have an office and you have to be licensed in that area. And you're going to have to do a percentage of the work in-house. So that doesn't apply all the time. But a lot of federal contracts you can do in other states. And again, you can thank FEMA for that, because if FEMA needs you to go to California to do disaster recovery, there's not going to be an office open to even go get a license there.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to do contracts in most other states under your local state license through the feds, and a lot of times you can sub that out to a local vendor and not even touch the location. All right.
Well.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Well, hour's almost up, guys. I'm going to do this training every Wednesday from now on at noon to 1 Eastern time, and I'm going to have a specific subject I'm going to cover. And each time I'm recording it, so when I'm done, I'll upload it so you guys can go back and review this later. I also provide my bid assistance training every day from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can log in any day and ask questions, work on bids together. I make myself available to my clients so that they've got me, period, every day, no matter what happens. When I broke my hand last year, I did the meetings from the hospital. When I was sick 3 months ago and I could barely talk, I did them from home. When I went on vacation last year, I still had these trainings every day at 4, even when I was on vacation. When I go to a convention, I'm always available for you guys. So when you got a bid that's due in an hour or tomorrow, you got someone to reach out to. And you can always email me anytime. And you'll have my cell number. I mean, I'm the most accessible man when it comes to government contracting. And if there's ever a question you have and you can't find me for some reason, or maybe I am out sick or whatever the case, you can't reach me, if you go to YouTube and search anything, government contracts, John Wayne, G.S.A. Say you want to learn more about G.S.A. That covers G.S.A. That covers G.S.A. That covers the G.S.A. Schedule 73.
Okay.
Find something. You've got my videos. I put these things out, and I give you guys information that no one will give you. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If you search government contracts on YouTube, my video is number 1 because I kick ass. But it's number 1 because of how long, the length of time that my clients watch my videos.
Wow.
Can you answer that? That's my son. The length of time that people watch my videos. If you go to the analytics, most videos that are watched on YouTube that are good. They're people that are really successful on YouTube. Their videos are watched an average of two minutes or more, and that's really good time. If you can get people to watch your videos for 2 minutes or more, that's really good. My videos are watched an average of 13.5 minutes, which is unheard of on the internet.
Wow.
That's why my video is number one. Not because of the number of views, not because of how awesome the content is, blah, blah, blah. It's because of how long people watch these videos. If
Yeah, no, John, you can tell you're passionate and knowledgeable in what you do. So, hey, John, but what about like, you know, simplified acquisition and a few things? I mean, is there a way that we can get, you know, half an hour with you, basically kind of walk through, because we've got a couple different entities, and I want to make sure that we're doing this right.
Well,
yeah.
I can answer any question any day in the 4 o'clock meeting, or you can email me anytime and I'll reply to you, usually immediately. If you call me and leave me a voicemail, it could be hours before I get back to you because my phone rings off the hook. It's ringing right now.
Dude, I imagine so. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so the 4 o'clock meeting, and then how do we get to the GoToMeeting link for that? Is that like a standard link? Or?
Nope. Every day it's different. Any day you want to join, you need to email me prior, at least a half an hour prior to the event, and just say, I want to join. If you've got a bid or solicitation or proposal that you want to work on while you're in FBO, in the opportunity.
So that's it's 4 Eastern, right?
Correct. East Coast.
Okay, so 3 o'clock.
So you got something you want to work on, right? While you're in.
Not necessarily. I mean, John.
No, I'm saying, for example, you find something that you want to work on, okay? You email me and say, John Wayne, I want to join the training today, or training please, or whatever. As long as it has the word training, I know what you're talking about. Copy this link right here and put it in that email. So when I get to you, all I have to do is click the link and I can go directly to that opportunity. Or if you're working on this document and you have a question about this paragraph of this document, instead of sending me the whole document, either do a snip right here, go to this little round button and click the snipping tool and snip a copy of it and say, John Wayne, blah, blah, blah. And I could probably answer this question through the email because I don't have to go searching for this thing you've already given me. Or you can also do a control PTR and it makes a copy of your entire screen if you do a control print screen, and email that to me. That way, when you get in the training, it's easy for me to pull this stuff up. We're not wasting time looking stuff up, and everybody's sitting there waiting on us. All right, guys?
Dude, that's perfect. Yeah, no problem, man. Got it. Okay, cool.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You can thank me after you win your first contract. I'll tell you every time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, John.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.